What's up, guys? Welcome to Dopeless.
So today we have a special guest, Chaz Smith, also known as Kalichi, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we just have a few questions for him. Thanks for coming on the show, Colicchie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for
Absolutely, no problem.
Really what we want to know about the most is, what it was like for you, what happened, and then what's it like now? So
All right. I mean, that's a pretty deep question to answer, but to give you like the short version, my life, like so many of ours, what really was, it was living hell. It's almost something that was like ineffable. Like I could not describe it in words. Growing up, like my childhood and everything was good, of course, and I was loved by my grandparents and and my mother and everything. But I always felt like I didn't belong, even like around like my closest peers. And when I found drugs, I really thought they were the solution to all my problems. I really did. And but they quickly became, the biggest problem that I ever had to face, and, my life consisted of, running from cops, committing small petty crimes, to going to jail numerous times, to, detoxes, rehabs, and psych wards all across the city of Pittsburgh. And, my progression with drugs and alcohol actually was pretty quick. I didn't start drugs until like late. I don't know if 15 is late, but I guess it was to me. And, I started smoking weed, and then, it quickly graduated through every single drug on this earth. And then being strung out on heroin, basically halfway through my senior year of high school. And, at that time, at 16, 17, I was already getting in so much trouble. I was already getting in so much, not really with the law yet, but more along the lines with school and, and my family and everything, and getting suspended numerous times my senior year. But, whenever I graduated high school, I wasn't allowed to go to the commencements, but they gave me my diploma. But from that moment forward, it's just my life, just full throttle, was nothing but criminal activity and intravenously using drugs. And, for the next 5 years, it really was a very hard battle. And it was a revolving door between rehabs, jail, and then using on the streets. I never even had a single day clean, outside of a facility, for, I would probably say about, 6 years. And because I would always want to get help, and I would always get help, but I never paid attention to the things I was being taught. I never paid attention to, all the, the tools that, I was given in order to succeed at staying clean outside of where I was at. So I would use basically the first day that I would ever leave anywhere, whether I was in jail or whether I was in rehab or detox or whatever. And because I really didn't know what I was up against, and I talk about this all the time, but, the disease of addiction, for me, and, recovery is so personal, but it really is very powerful. And, so when I would leave and not really, quote unquote, have any guidance to the things that I paid attention to, I always fell short, and, I would be in places like jail and rehab, and I really would be done. Like I really 100%, like in my heart, like I felt like I just could not do this anymore. I wanted to change so badly, for that moment I've surrendered, but I just never really just applied even just the smallest amount of willingness or self-sacrifice that it took once I left there, and, I've had so many, intervals of clean time since I was younger. For people that don't know my story, I've had a year clean, then 3.5 years clean, then 2.5 years clean, then a year clean, and now I have 5.5 years clean. And I'm telling you, like I've learned, so much, in recovery, and there's so many pathways, for people to quote unquote recover and get better, but mine has always been complete abstinence, mixed with a 12-step fellowship and program. In the city like Pittsburgh, that's just what I was taught. That's just what I was taught at a young age. My mother growing up had 16 years sober, in a fellowship. And, she told me, like, even when I was real young, that I may struggle with drugs and alcohol, when I get older. And, my father was a heroin addict. When I was basically 2 years old, my mother picked me and my sister up out of a crib and just left, and never seen him again. To this day, I have no idea where he is. And, my sister was basically my running partner for years. And, she also was big into heroin and crack. And, she got clean about 15 years ago. And, she's still to this day is holding strong. So my entire immediate family, suffers from, drug addiction and alcoholism. And, through, coming into recovery, whether it was the first time or this last time, I really did find out that, how much work I put into it is really going to be a direct reflection of how far I want to go in life. And I'm telling you, like, when I first got clean, just how amazing I felt, and really just, I share about this frequently, but I went so long without smiling, without laughing, without any of that. And when I, got clean, whether it was a week or 30 days or 60 days, and I would be hanging out with my friends till 4 a.m, and we would just laugh, and I would just laugh so hard that my stomach would hurt. Like, that's really,
we all do that now, man.
yeah. I still do it now, but I'm saying, like, I didn't laugh for so long, and that is really like what attracted me. Of course, I'm talking about everything from the meetings to step work to sponsorship to helping others. All of that plays a part. But just even on a surface level, that is what attracted me, was to feel human again, to feel normal again. Because I was a walking descendant. I literally was just a zombie for so many years. I was a terrorist, and I damaged every single relationship that I had around me. No one wanted to be a part of my life. Thank God for my enabling mother that, she would she would kick me out for a couple of days and then let me come home because she'd be so afraid I was going to die. And, but I had no friends. I had no, for years, I didn't have a dollar. I made money every day stealing and boosting and, just to get high, but I never had any, extra money to even buy a sandwich, literally not even a dollar to buy a sandwich, because for one, I was unemployable, and for two, I didn't want to work. And the times that I would get 3 days clean and then maybe get a job at Panera Bread or something like that, I would lose it the first paycheck that I got. I just completely 100% unemployable, untrustworthy. I was not accountable. I was not responsible. I didn't know how to do anything. literally anything, from write a check to pay a bill to even just, the smallest things that, that we learn. So whenever I even got clean at, the age of 23, 24, but even when I got clean later in my early 30s, there was still stuff that I didn't know what to do that I should have learned many years ago. What's great about recovery, is the predecessors that came before me, and anything that I have a question with, whether it's in recovery or if it's just life skills, I know somebody that can help me. I know somebody that can teach me. I've even, I've self-taught a lot of things while in recovery, whether it has to do with music or even watching tutorials, just wanting to learn, just wanting to really just push myself and see what I'm capable of. It really, just how beautiful and amazing it is. Even this last time, I got clean, I used for 4 days, and I used a substantial amount of drugs, and, I hit this point where I just was I could not do this again. I could not do this again. And as hard as it was, I managed to climb myself out of it, and got, fully reimmersed, back into the program. And then even with 30 days clean, I ended up moving 600 miles away to, my best friend's house down in North Carolina, and really just basically cleansed my soul, and started over. And I was doing everything down there that I was doing up here, from working to going to a meeting every single day. And I just knew that I just had to do it because, it's like this, like, I don't know. I felt and feel that God is only going to give me so many chances. And I feel like I really have used like all of them up as far as when it comes to using. And, this time getting clean, it has been amazing. My first year, my first 2 years was amazing. Then I find out I'm going to be a father with 2 years clean. And then I have this little girl that literally changes my life for the better. And I mean, like from the moment I met her, she has become my best friend. She has taught me about unconditional love in ways that I never even knew was physically possible for a human being. She really is my drive. She's my motivation. She like instills, dedication in my veins to just keep on pushing. Because I mean, if you like in my story, I've self-sabotaged so many times in the past at the drop of a hat, whether it was dealing with the end of a relationship or something. I would always encounter this feeling that I thought that I couldn't handle clean, and I would always run back to what was familiar, and it was the familiar pain of using drugs. But like now it's like I don't even really have that luxury. You know what I mean? And not only that, I don't even feel that way anymore. Like, one thing I've learned about feelings and dealing with them is that they're going to happen, good, bad, or indifferent, and I have to just hold on and really just sit still, and like one thing the program has taught me that a lot of days, it really doesn't matter what I think or feel. It's about what I do, so I may feel, minorly depressed or filled with anxiety or lack confidence or be filled with self-doubt. But like, I know from my own personal past experience that always passes. So what I do is I just really just stay strong, stay connected with other people, pray about it, and just get through to the next day, and like I said, though, but she's just really helped me in so many ways, even with the spiritual principles that I apply in my life. And she's always made me want to be a better person. And, I was on a solid foundation, the first 2 years before she was born, but I can see everything in my life basically skyrocket, since the first time I met her. And, but it's crazy, and through all this, I started doing music when I was the first time I attempted to get clean at like 23. So I've been doing music pretty much for like 16 years, give or take now. And, even with that, that's something that has helped me tremendously because I've always looked at music in a way kind of like step work to a degree, where I was never afraid to share my most personal secrets or things that are embarrassing or tragic events or just anything, because it's like what I was learning, out there, about as far as applying honesty, I kind of just carried it in with me to my music. And, along this journey, I've managed to, to help a lot of people, and that's something I'm telling you, like there's so many things that have happened in my recovery where I just thought just never in a million years that would happen for me. It just won't. There's no way that would happen for me. But just by really just having like a connection with God and keeping the faith and really working hard and, and just pushing myself, man, like the benefits of recovery, and the dreams that I've seen come true, literally right in front of my eyes, to this day, it blows my mind. And I don't know, recovery to me, is so deep, and every single day I'm still learning, and every single day I'm learning new things about myself, whether they're character defects or whether they're assets. It's this continuous journey that that I have to always be ready for, as far as, just being willing to learn about myself. Because at the end of the day, what it's really about is just understanding and self-awareness and building a relationship with God, and really comprehending my behaviors. Why do I think the way I think? All of that, it just all plays a part, and the more I understand myself, then the better chance I have of not returning to the chemical. And I don't know.
You kind of segued into the next question I was going to ask you.
Mhm.
Being in the rap industry,
Yeah.
and being so braggadocious, how do you keep your ego in check?
I mean, really, if I had to answer that question like with just one sentence, is kind of what I was talking about before, how I've had stuff, meaning like, you know, I've had 3.5 years clean, and I've used and I've lost everything, like just like that. I think by me truly believing in my heart that I am susceptible to relapse and lose everything at any given time really just makes me appreciate what I have now more. And I don't know. I'm just full of gratitude. Like I really am. I'm grateful for the things that I have, and I display my gratitude in my actions. And I don't know. I've never really been like the braggadocious type either. You know, maybe in some of my songs, I just might come off that way, but I don't really feel like that. I don't really think like that. You know, that's what I felt like writing at that time. But I don't know. I've always felt even even you and kind of unique, even I guess, even with music, because I quote unquote wasn't the same as other people or talked about the same things or anything like that. But I don't know. I just know that I'm grateful for what I've been given thus far, and I truly believe that I won't receive more unless I remain grateful.
Okay, so I have a question. I've
Yes.
heard lots of your music and I love it. It's very touching. Where did you get the name Colicchie?
Kalichi was actually my grandmother's maiden name. And I remember the first vacation I've ever went on, like besides like with my family when I was younger, I was with friends in recovery, including my sister. And I think we were in Clearwater, Florida or something. And I was like 22 and we were on the beach. And at this time I started writing here and there. I didn't really start recording, but like, you know, my friends knew that I was like writing music. And I mean, honestly, like I wrote music for like like I like recorded music and wrote for like probably 2 years before even like some of like my closest friends even knew that I was doing it. And I don't know why. Like I said, I've always been like a shy person. I've always been like don't look at me, don't talk about me type of person. But I remember we were just sitting on the beach and I looked over at her and I was like, I think I'm going to go with Colicchie. And she was like, yeah, I like it. Cause I just didn't really know what to call myself. And here's what's crazy. Like fast forward, like my grandparents they lived down the street from me and they basically raised my sister and I, they just like instilled like love with us. And my grandmother taught me about spiritual principles way before I ever entered the rooms and, you know, morals, values, all that. And, you know, they ended up passing roughly 4 years ago now. And they ended up passing, they died after 56 years of marriage. They died 19 days apart. And, you know, and that was actually the name of one of my albums. And what's crazy is that my grandmother was so kind and she was one of the most selfless people that I've ever met. So it's almost like that name now is just fitting, especially for myself and my music. And to be honest, I really feel that she's with me in spirit a lot of times, especially when I'm performing.
Awesome.
This is my hetero life mate, Jason.
Yeah, man. Nice hearing your story, man. You're an extremely humble guy. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we like it. Jeremy ourselves, man, we've been down through there with heroin addiction ourselves. What is said you've gotten a little clean time and then gone back out a couple of times, man. For you, what's different this time?
I mean, for me this time, I really can say that my thinking is different. And kind of what I talked about earlier about how just handling feelings, like no matter how bad they were. And on top of that, like I said, you know, always thinking about my little girl too, you know. And I look at the times in the past that I used, they were pretty much always with a significant other, and the significant other was using for extended amounts of time, or they ended up breaking my heart because I thought that I was in love with them, but I wasn't in love with them. I was just obsessed. Big difference. And and they would leave and I would just be left with like this void, this emptiness. And I, like I said, I feel like I feel like I felt such a different range of emotions over the years. And I don't know, like, I haven't, like, this time since I've been clean, I really haven't even dated anyone, really. I dated someone like for my first year clean for like, a couple months. And then like, and the same thing, I remember they ended up breaking my heart. And I remember like it hurt, but like it didn't like hurt how it did in the past. And I think just after, maybe having, your heart broken so many times, it's not that you become like numb and a cold person. You just become like, it doesn't bother me the way that it once has, I guess you could say. So that's always been my biggest downfall, I guess you could say, is like dealing with the end of relationships. And, I really haven't placed myself in a position this time yet to even feel like that. And I'm not saying that, one day I won't feel that again, but I know if I was to feel that again, I would know how to handle it, I guess you could say, more properly, and not run to, the chemical or alcohol, because, I always thought it was going to fix my problems, but, I have so much personal experience with, it does nothing but escalate my problems 110%.
It's funny that you're talking about the subjects that you're talking about. Because, I mean, it really strikes me because I was on methadone for 10 years, methadone maintenance program. And my ex-wife cheated and, all this stuff happened. And normally my go-to is, okay, I'm just going to numb myself with whatever chemical I can put in my body. And this time I got clean. And so, yeah, I can really relate to that. You have a couple of songs about it as well that I can really relate to. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's probably such that. Can you still see me?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. It'll pass. But I have a line in one of my songs where I talk about how like I can deal with death easier than I can deal with loss. Meaning like,
Right.
It's when someone dies, especially someone close, like my friends Stash or Eric, like that was painful. But like there's almost like this level of acceptance instantly the moment they're gone, where it's just like, okay, now you have to deal with it. But like when you deal with like the loss of a relationship or like a heartache, it's just, I don't know if it's like the knowing the like what if, or like, why did they leave? Was I not good enough? Was it something I did? Is it, it just all that stuff would just like manifest and play in my head. And it would bring about more feelings than just the actual heartache, I guess you could say. And
Completely understand.
and it was just a lot for me to deal with.
There's a chance you're not going to run into that person again in your lifetime. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be that reminder. I completely understand that. Yeah,
And I say it in meetings all the time, like you can hurt me physically all you want, but emotional pain is my problem. I can't handle that shit. I can't handle it. You guys got more questions?
What do you do on a daily basis to maintain your recovery?
I mean, I stay connected with, friends in the program. Prayer is huge for me. Now, if we're talking like daily is like in the last year, like, I mean, even like last year with like before COVID with, 4.5 years clean, I still was going to about, 3 meetings a week at least. Times where I'd have my daughter where I might go there and I'd only be there for 20 minutes and I'd have to leave because she'd want to leave. But, I was still making a lot of meetings. But this last year with COVID, I like as of right now, I make about probably a meeting a week, sometimes 2. It all depends. We usually have about 400 per week, but now I think it's down to like 100 or something maybe. But, other than that, I mean, even like reading literature, it's probably been a couple months since I did that outside of the meeting, but that was very huge for me, because I always found like, no matter what, this is just for me, but like, no matter what I'm dealing with, any problem or anything, I could always find the answer in the literature, and that's just been my experience. And, and really, and helping others, I spend a lot of time online messaging with other people, you know, and I just try and give, you know, but I also don't try and wear myself out to the point where, you know, I feel completely run down, you know, because I have to get fed too in order to feed people. And but that's really what it's always been for me. As simple as that, is really just the meetings and the sponsor and helping others and prayer and step work and just living and just getting experiences, new experiences, learning off old mistakes, learning from new ones, and working. I mean, I work a lot too with my music and with and really just reaching out to people, you know, online.
Awesome. How old's your little girl?
3.5. Well, she'll be 4 in July.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old little girl, so I completely understand.
Yeah, and like I said, like she really is my best friend. Her mother and I, we switch off. Like I have her 24 hours on, 24 hours off, because we live like kind of close. That way, like we both get breaks and all that. But you know, she really is like my best friend. I spend more time with her than anyone, and you know, it was just such a huge fear of mine too. Like, you know, when we found out that Ashley was pregnant, you know, I was scared, like, you know, because, you know, my biggest fear in life always was to be a father. It just was. I've also shared about this a lot too, like where I truly would rather get jumped by 5 people in an alley than a female saying, hey, you're going to be a dad. And I don't know if it was a direct result of growing up without a father or what, but I just always scared me to death. And it's crazy. Like this last time, you know, like she told me, and I remember I was like paralyzed. Like that night, I remember I was paralyzed in fear, like paralyzed. I couldn't move. And then I woke up the next day, and it was like I was completely filled with faith. And I remember like even like verbally saying out loud, like, dude, like, Chaz, you've been through so much. Do you really think that you can't handle this? Like, you're going to be fine. Like, just you can handle this. You know, and I also had a huge fear too of like not loving my child. Like, you know, like I know that might sound weird and strange, but like I also had this fear like that, like, was I going to like be able to like, you know, emotionally love this child? And it's correct. It just, since the second she was born, I knew that like, it was almost like, I can't believe this is what I've been missing my entire life. Like, this is the missing piece of the puzzle of, you know, my existence and my purpose. And, you know, and the reason that I'm here, you know, is to be a father. And, you know, when I was down in North Carolina, you know, getting myself together with 30, 60 days clean, I used to go to Wrightsville Beach and I used to sit there and I would pray. And because I wouldn't talk in the meetings because I'm not, because I don't like to talk, especially when I'm around people I don't know. But I would go to meetings every night. But then after that, I would go to the beach and I would pray. And some nights I would pray for 10 minutes and some nights I would pray for hours. And the way that I pray is the way that I'm just talking now. I just verbally, you know, talk out loud. And I used to cry, and I used to like cry to God about how like, you know, how come so many of my friends are dead and I'm still alive? And I remember just like screaming, like, I have to have a purpose. I'm still here. Like, what is it? And I'm serious. Like, I get chills when I think about it, because it's, you know, I find out like years later that like my 2 main purposes in life are like to like do music and to like raise a little girl. And that's another reason that just really just pushes me to like never want to return to where I came from.
We appreciate you doing this interview with
Yes,
us.
thank
We're
you
very
very
grateful
much,
to have
man.
you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was shocked when you replied back. I was like, wow, this guy has
Honestly, I do what I can. You know, I definitely do what I can. Sometimes my life is just really busy, and then sometimes it's just, honestly, it's just more laid back, and I don't have much going on other than like work and my daughter. You know, I do travel a lot too, but obviously since COVID, I really haven't done that much. I've gone to Florida, you know, a handful of times, but other than that, I haven't really traveled.
Well, if you ever come to Oklahoma, let us know.
Yeah, let us know, man.
Perfect.
Yeah, got your seat waiting, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your new home, and thanks for joining us. We
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Very much, man.
Real
Thank
quick,
you.
some self-promotion. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
We have shirts, hats, all that available.
Shirts, hats, wristbands.
If you're wondering what the life of a drug addict is like, listen to the song by Kalichi, Drug Addiction.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Doing that.